Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. A few weeks ago, we took a look at some of my cheap Japanese pens. They were all steel nibbed. What I thought we'd do today is take a look at the remaining Japanese pens in my collection, and they're all gold nibbed. Here they are. There's 5 of them for us to look at. We've got pens from Pilot, from Sailor, and from Platinum. Join me now down on the table and we'll explore fairly quickly each of these pens. Welcome down to the table. My 5 gold nibbed Japanese pens. What I'm going to do is fetch them out in ascending price order, and I checked the prices earlier on this week and it's near the end of March of 2024. So the first pen. This is by Pilot, and this is the Pilot Elite or the Pilot E95S. Very elegant looking pen. Very nice looking pen. The way to make this pen a perfect looking pen for me, not too keen on the burgundy. It does look nice with this. I'd love to see that in a nice emerald green. I think that would be an instant buy for me. Very, very small pen. It's a pocket pen. It's designed to be small, designed to be light. The cap looks very long, doesn't it? Especially when you compare it to the body. Normally it's the other way around. But if we pull the cap off, that does reveal a fairly long section. And at the bottom there, we've got an embedded nib. This is a 14 karat gold nib. All today's pens, all 14 karat gold nibs. The cap, why it's so long, is it posts there on the body. And it posts and gives you a really nice sized pen. Very nice to use. Unposted, you can actually get away with it. It does feel a bit on the short side though. If I take off the body, what I use here, it will take a converter. A Con 14 here, you can only see the end of it. That's why I use a cartridge. I just eyedropper fill the cartridge. And this has got my ink in, which is Diamine Writer's Blood. It's a nice combo that I like with this pen. So let's pop it back together and do some writing. So we've got the Pilot. Beautiful to write with. E95S. I say it's medium, and although they're all 14 karat gold, I will write it as well. The price for this pen is 215 Aussie dollars. I do think that's really good value. The ink, as I've already said, by Diamine, and it's Writer's Blood. I think with the body, this is a lovely combo. We'll do the grid. Very wet writer, this. Very, very juicy pen. Going side to side. And then our grid. And the diagonal one. Drying times. There's immediate. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. And we're dry there at 30 seconds, so no need to do that 1 minute test. I do like this combo, and this pen, very nice, easy just to pop in your pocket, and it works on most papers. For the full picture, this paper, this is Ayush paper, 100 GSM paper, really nice fountain pen friendly. It's a slightly cream coloured paper, and there is a little bit of texture to it. So that's a Pilot E95S. Up next, we're switching to Platinum. So this is the Platinum 3776 Century in the Burgoyne colour. So beautiful, deep, dark, like a blood crimson, I would almost say. Semi-transparent. Not enough that you can see the ink level, but you can see in there the converter. Let me hold it up a little bit. Maybe that might help with that. Let's see if I can get this into focus for you. There we go. Hopefully you can see there. It's slightly transparent. You can see the nib, which is nice. The cap screws off, and this one is a converter. Platinum converter there. You need to use a platinum converter. In the hand, it's fairly nice unposted. It will post. Feels a bit long to me and a little bit on the back heavy side, but that's because I tend to use my pens unposted. Let's write with this one. Oh, the nib. Before we write, jumping ahead there. Beautiful nib there. There we go. So now let's do our writing. So we've got here a platinum 3776 century. This is, again, it's a medium nib and 14 karat gold. The price for this is 288 Aussie dollars. Very different feeling writer than we were getting with the E95S. This is a lot stiffer, more, I'm not going to say exactly writing like a nail, but certainly it's getting towards that stiff, really nail feeling to it. You definitely know you're writing with it though. The ink is by Atrementix. And it's cherry. This is a scented ink, so you can actually smell cherries when you open the bottle. It doesn't come over on the paper though, so it doesn't dry and still smell. It's all gone by the time it's dried. So we'll do our grid. See, not filling as quickly as the E95S was. A lot more feedback on this. You can certainly hear it. The audible feedback is lovely. Drying times. So we got immediate. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. Again, another one. It's dry at 30 seconds. I don't often use this pen, and I'm not really sure why, because every time I use it, I love using it. It's just not one of those ones that I seem to reach for. So that's a Platinum 3776 Century. Let's move the paper up a little bit. We're going to go back to Pilot for the next pen, and we're going to go for the Pilot Custom Heritage 92. Piston filling pen. Only piston filling pen in the selection. The piston mechanism does take up a lot of the body. There's the bottom of the piston mechanism. So I would say roughly 2/3 of the body is piston. Slightly transparent. Again, I do like that. Certainly where I live, very hard to get anything other than this black one, which is a shame because I think in different colours this would look quite nice. The nib is a smallish sized nib. It's a number 5 nib, or Japanese number 5, Pilot number 5 should I say. There we go. And this is ruthenium plated. I think it's ruthenium. It could be rhodium, but it looks like a steely or a silvery colour rather than gold. It's one of the things I don't like. I'd love to have seen this just as a standard gold coloured nib. Very thin feeling pen. Nice unposted. Again, it does post, and it's actually quite nice to use posted as well. But again, I tend to use my pens unposted. So we've got here a Pilot Custom Heritage 92 with a medium nib, and again, it's 14 karat gold. This is a very soft nib, and it does write quite wide. You know, look above where we've got that Platinum 3776. Both are medium nibs, but there's a definite difference in line width. The price for this pen is 355 Aussie dollars. The ink is by Dieman, which is an Australian company, and it's Apple Island Green. At the moment, whenever I use this pen, this is the thing that I tend to put in it. I just love the combo. I think they work really well together. So we'll do our grid. So very similar to the E95S, this is really filling that grid very quickly. I love the softness of the nib. It's as if the pen's vanishing in your hand when you're writing. Whereas with the 3776, because of the stiffness, you know you're writing with it. Very nice. Drying times, so immediate, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. More or less dry there at a minute. I say I do love this combo and quite often come back to it. So that's the Pilot Custom Heritage 92. Just dropping in to interrupt your regular programming. Would you like to help support the channel? If so, please consider joining as a member. As a member, you'll get early access to my videos. I normally upload them a couple of days before they go out, and as soon as they're uploaded, they'll be released to members. There'll also be a shout out at the end of the videos, and then as we get the members coming in, we'll actually chat among ourselves and work out what other perks, what other things you'd like me to add in. You know, would you like maybe a monthly live chat just for members? All down to us. So please, if you can, consider joining the channel. A link will be in the description down below. Going to change manufacturers again. This time we're going to Sailor. This is the Sailor ProGar Slim. So a small pen, not as small as the E95S, but certainly getting towards that. I love the colour of this. It's called Blue Green Nebula. And if I can get this into focus for you. Going everywhere but where I want to be. There we go. So it's this beautiful tealy colour, or blue-green. But then can you hopefully see coming through? We've got these specks of silver, which look like stars that have been born in the nebula. Very nice pen, very pretty pen. I really like this. It's a small pen, as I say. It's a thin pen. Cartridge converter. So there's the Sailor converter there. I like the semi-transparent nature. It's a shame in a way that the fittings are metal, because this would look really nice eyedroppered, but obviously not really possible. Section is a bit on the thin side and also a bit on the short side, and unposted, not really usable. You can get away with it, but I find with this pen, this is one I have to use posted. Posted does feel quite nice. Got the Sailor nib here. I'm going to be honest with you, this is one of my favourite nibs. Full stop. Not just favourite gold nib, but my favourite nibs. Beautiful feedback. The way it writes is absolutely gorgeous. So we've got here a Sailor ProGar Slim. This is a broad, and again, it's 14 karat gold. Price for this pen, 355 Aussie dollars. The ink is by Robert Oster. It's Tranquility. I normally use Diamine Aurora Borealis in here, but Tranquility, very, very similar colour, and I do occasionally pop Tranquility in just to get a little bit of a change. So let's do our grid. So to my eye, although this is a broad nib, it's not as wide as that medium on the Custom Heritage 92. But the experience of writing with this, it's not as stiff as the 3776, but there's still that beautiful feedback. Very nice, really enjoyable. Drying times, so here's immediate, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, after 30 seconds, that one there, nice and dry as well. So this, it's the Sailor ProGar Slim. I do think this is a very pretty, it really is so pretty to look at. The final pen, let's just move this up ever so slightly. This is back to Pilot, and this is the Pilot Custom 823. Vacuum filling pen. this gorgeous brown colour. I think it looks really nice. You can see here we've got the bar going down for that vacuum mechanism. Also acts as a shut-off valve. It's open. I'm at home, so I'll leave it open. A little bit of ink in there. I love being able to see the ink flow in this pen. I think it looks really, really nice. Very classic looking pen, isn't it? 14 karat gold nib. This is a number 15 size nib, and this is a pilot nib. I do much prefer this being this gold colour. So I wish on the Custom Heritage 92 it was the same. I think it would look really nice. Good fit in the hand. Very nice to use, very comfortable to use. It's one of those pens I've virtually always got it inked up, usually with a brown ink, but I do play around with ink colours occasionally. So we've got here a Pilot, Custom 823, and this is a broad, and it's 14 karat gold. Again, the nib feels a little bit softer than we saw with the Sailor ProGar Slim, but certainly not as soft as with that Custom Heritage 92. But I've had that 92 for about 3 years, where I've only had this for about 18 months. So that softness may come with use. Price-wise, it's a whopping 547 Aussie dollars. So not a cheap pen. The ink by Diamine, and it's Tobacco Sunburst. This and Cafe Crema are my two favourite brown inks, and they're both inks that I love having in this pen. Just look at the shading. We've got some brown tones in there, but then we've got these gorgeous like pale yellow and goldy type colours. Very, very nice to look at. Let's do our grid. Again, this fills in this grid really, really quickly. Nowhere near as stiff as that Platinum or Sailor nib. The flow on this is very, very nice. Drying times, so we got immediate, 10 seconds, 30 seconds. Still smudging there, so let's go for 1 minute. After a minute, as we'd expect, that's now nice and dry. So this is the Pilot Custom 823. Going to move the page up, just so we can get the bottom there. What I'm going to do is fetch out each pen now, and I'm going to write a sentence with them. Let's move the mic down to the page, and start with the Pilot E95S. Very nice audible feedback on that pen. Really enjoyable to use. The Platinum 3776. Again, very nice. Does feel stiff. Get nice audible feedback. But as you can see, this is an issue I've noticed for the past couple of times I've used this pen. I do get some issues with ink flow. And what I end up having to do is prime the pen every so often. So that's something I need to look at. What I may need to do is maybe pull out the nib and feed and give it a really good deep clean. That's something I need to look at though, because I've never taken the nib and feed out of this pen yet. Next up, we've got that Pilot Custom Heritage 92. A very different writing experience than the previous two pens. You can see the line is a lot wider than the previous two. This is the beauty about doing all these sentences together, which is one of the reasons why I made that change in my format. But still, it's really nice, pleasure to use, and a little bit quieter than the other two pens. Now the Sailor ProGar Slim. Remember, this one I need to use posted. A lot more audible there, you can hear it writing. The tactileness is beautiful, especially on this slightly textured paper. The line to me, although this is a broad nib, does seem a little bit thinner than we're seeing with that medium from the Custom Heritage 92. And then finally, to make up the end, we've got that Pilot Custom 823. Again, it's another pen. There's a lot more audible noise coming from it as I'm writing. Of the 5 that we've looked at, this is by far the loudest, but it still gives this beautiful line. Again, it's wider than what we see with the Sailor, and noticeably wider than what we're seeing with that medium on the 92. Let me just rearrange my page slightly, and we'll take one final look at the pens. So I can just about get a little bit of the writing of each onto the page. The pens we've looked at today: the Pilot E95S with Diamine Writer's Blood, the Platinum 3776 Century with Atrementix Cherry, the Pilot Custom Heritage 92 with Van Diemen's Apple Island Green, the Sailor ProGar Slim with Robert Oster Tranquility, and the Pilot Custom 823 with Diamine Tobacco Sunburst. So of these 5 pens, if I had to pick a favourite, it's very difficult because they've all got their own little things that I love about them. I love the looks, I love the portable nature here with the E95S. I like this beautiful colour here and the stiffness of the nib. A bit on the thin side for me, but it's still a nice, gorgeous nib. I love the versatility that I get with the E95S and the softness, the bounce when I'm writing. I love, to be honest, I love the nib, the way it writes, the tactileness of the Sailor ProGar Slim. I also love the looks. And I love the classic nature, the workhorse nature that I see with a Pilot Custom 823. But if I had to pick one of them as my favourite, I've got to be honest, it would go to the E95S. As much as I love the 823, this E95S, just such a flexible pen, so much you can do with it. It's easy to use. Yes, I use a cartridge, but it's easy to fill, writes beautifully, writes consistently. So they're my 5 gold-nibbed Japanese pens. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. So here's my 5 gold-nibbed Japanese pens. Which pens do you have? Which ones would you like to have? Which ones would you recommend I add to my list for future purchases? Please drop a comment down below. Let's kickstart the conversation. Please hit that thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.